Hey there, as a beginner violinist you may quickly feel a bit limited to the first finger frame that you learn and those first three scales that you learn. The 1 octave G, D and A major scales. You might long to play in C major because you might already have found a lot of nice sheet music and songs you want to play or play together with people and you're really missing that C major scale. So in this video I'm going to teach you the second finger frame with the low second finger, and you're going to learn two new scales. The G major scale that is 1 octave higher than the G major scale that you're already playing, and the C major scale that is completely new to you. If you're thinking, who are you and what is this all? I am Zlata. I'm a professional violinist turned stay-at-home mom, sharing my art and skill online in this free beginner course. And up until now we've learned to play with all four fingers, we've learned all kinds of nice tunes like Ode to Joy and Old MacDonald, you've learned to read notes, and well, now we're going to the next step, the second finger frame. If you want to watch the previous lessons of this course, then go to the link right here, and if you want to download my free beginner book and all the sheet music and resources that go along with this course, then sign up at violinlessonsforfree.com. It's completely free. I don't know, I will continue this course until, from scratch to your first violin concerto and beyond. I don't know how far I will take it. Depends on how many people subscribe and like this video. So if you want me to make more lessons, then subscribe and like. So first I want you to get used a little bit to that low second finger. And before you were used to this finger frame. And now we're going to place the second finger right next to the first finger. Squeeze them together. If you have thin fingers, then maybe it's with a little distance in between, like it is for me. So this was the first finger frame. This is the second finger frame. So you might want to practice this, switching. We'll go into switching later if you've really learned the intonation of the low second finger. So if you want to discover the sound of low second fingers, we have G, A, B flat, and we'll go into flats later in this course. Then we have D, E and F, and we have A, B and C. Because E and F and B and C is always a small distance. Then we have E, F sharp and G. Now I want to take you back to that embarrassing scene with my smudged lipstick behind my kid's toy piano, where I explained you about the major scales and the little steps, and there I already explained to you the G major scale and the C major scale. Well, now we're going to take those steps, big, big, small, big, 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 small, and apply them to two new scales. Here we go. So just as we've learned in lesson number 11, we're going to make the major scale jumps. Big, big, small, big, 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 small. And we start on the C. And first let's look up the C. So we have G, A, B and C. So if we start there, we make a big step to the D. So C, D. And we can also do the open string there. Okay, so big, and then from the D to the E is also a big step, and then we need a small step, we go to the F. The E to the F, like I showed you with the piano, is always a small distance, as well as the B to the C, just those two. So we have that small step from the E to the F, and then we have big, 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 small. So F, G, A, and then B, and last note C, and that is a small step again. So again C, and then big, big, small, big, 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 small. And in the note names, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Alright, Then we've learned that the G major scale has an F sharp. If you want to know why and how it all works, go back to lesson 11. So we are doing the same fingering, just starting on the D string. All the rest is the same. So we start with the third finger on the D string. So that's a G. And then we do big, big, small, big, big, F sharp, and then a small step to the G. So, big, big, small, big, big, small. In note names, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now a little warning here. I only want you to start this low second finger if you can play in that first finger frame with a good sound, a decent sound, and when playing in tune. I don't mean that you play perfectly, but you must have some fluency in it and some reliability in it. And even if you spend the first year in the first frame but you really got it right, then you've achieved much more than someone who is much further in repertoire but plays in a very sloppy way. So I really encourage you to be a good teacher for yourself in each practice session. Now, how I want you to practice these scales is first that you go through them really slowly and that you make sure, note for note, that it sounds good and that your intonation is good. So we first get at C, we build it up from the G string. And then maybe if you can check with a tuner or piano that you really have that G. And only continue when you really got a good sound and good intonation. And then you go to the next note. And then you really have to see with that fourth finger the D string resonating. And I want you to take as many bow strokes as you like, because I see a lot of beginners rushing through songs, rushing through repertoire, and then not sounding good and playing out of tune. So what I want for you is to take it slow, but take it precise. And that gets you much further in the future and in the end saves you a ton of time. And then if you build it up to kind of regular tempo, then it's time to play along with the piano accompaniment. Well, you can play along with my playing, of course, but that is a very passive way of learning music. Then you're just copying. But if you really play it yourself, really search for the intonation and play along with the piano accompaniment, that's an active way of engaging in music. So you actually learn something from it, because you can copy it right away and just adjust until the notes are the same as my note, for example. But then you won't be able to play it on your own or when you are playing a piece. So I put this scale with the piano accompaniment in Soundslice, and that's a really handy tool with which you can play this scale at any speed. You can play along with the piano, or the piano and the violin, or just the violin. You can see the sheet music, you can see exactly which note you have to play, and you can see the violin visualization, so you can see the exact grips on the fingerboard, which is really handy. So if you want that link, then go to violinlessonsforfree.com. There I have all the resources that go with this course. So here are the C and G major scale. And if this scale goes fluently and you're kind of used to it, and take your time for that, then I want you to practice this scale in jumps. So in thirds, that means that you go 2 steps up and 2 steps down. So for example, from the G, 2 steps up to the E, and 1 step down to the D. And and then 2 steps up to the F, and then 1 step down to the E, etc, etc. So here it is with the piano accompaniment. Now this is already a big step in the direction of playing your first violin concerto that's coming up in this course. But first I want you to get used to playing with that low second finger before we start switching the low and high second finger around. So I want you to get comfortable with it. That's why in the next 2 lessons I'm going to teach you 2 beautiful melodies by Pracht. And we can also play them along with the piano, and I'll teach you a bit more about slurs and dynamics and making a beautiful sound on the violin. So I hope to see you in my next lesson. Again, I'm only continuing this course if enough people subscribe and like it. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's not interesting or something. So please subscribe to my channel if this is interesting. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye.